Hey everyone, this is Murray, and I'm back with something a bit different for a change. So, if you haven't heard by now, REDU Format has been getting a lot of attention. I'm super excited. REDU is one of my favorite eras in the game's history, so I'm very glad to see more people find appreciation for it and get into it. So, I wanted to show you guys my take on Gladiator Beast in this format. I think Gladiator Beast um, is very underrated in this format because it's 2012. By then, most people are already like they moved on to other decks, but I don't think people realize what exactly you can do with Glads in this format. I think there's so much more you can do compared to Edison, and I wanted to make this video to maybe inspire some of you guys to try out REDU Format, or maybe try out Glads in REDU Format, whichever, right? And yeah, so this is my take on Glads. I think the deck is great in this format too. So apologies in advance. All my stuff is in different sleeves. I just pulled stuff from binders, but hopefully you guys understand that. So let's go ahead and get to the monster lineup. We'll start with the monsters. You have 2 Laquari, 2 Darius, 2 Quest, Bestiari, Retiari, Mermolo, Complimus, 3 Tigers, 2 Prisma, and a Stratos. So this looks like something straight out of Edison format. That's because the thing with Glads is that outside the spell and traps, the monster lineup practically stays the same. Most of your innovations are going to happen in the spell and trap lineup. So in this format, the only thing I would say that's different is, Rescue Cat's not in the game at this point. The card's long gone. So we play the next best thing, which is Prisma Stratos. But everything else looks very classic. For the spells, we have 2 A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is the card that lets Glads do a lot of really unfair and unreasonable things. It just makes this engine like unbelievable sometimes, because now you can Geysers people without having to normal summon. It's much easier to Geysers into Herc, or Geysers into an Exceed, or Geysers people twice in a turn. There's just so much you can do with this card. Now the only thing is that it does cost half your life points, so this is something that I feel like more seasoned Glad players would be comfortable playing, because it does require, to be a bit more careful, just because this format has a lot more back rows than Edison does. But I think the payoff is just too good not to play. So yeah, 2 Hero Lives. It's at 2 in this format. Triple Lance. Lance is crazy. It's basically Shrink times 1,000. Like, it's so good. It just protects your GB from any type of spell or trap, like Bottomless, Mirror Force, Tori, Deep Prison, Dark Hole, and then it also serves as a battle trick, so you can attack over stuff. It's everything that you want in a card for GB. And then all these really good one-ofs. Book of Moon's at 1 in this format, and then the rest is pretty obvious. We do get to play with these 2 in this format, which is pretty nice. For the traps, we are looking at 3 Safe Zone. So Safe Zone, along with Forbidden Lance, they're both very similar to each other. So Safe Zone, like these cards, they protect your GBs in more than one way. So they can protect them from destruction effects like Dark Hole, Bottomless, Mirror Force, Tori. But they have other applications, because now they're protecting them from battle. So Safe Zone, in many ways, is just a better Waboku for this deck. because it has the bonus of dodge, protecting you from destruction effects. And then Safe Zone has a bonus effect where if the monster, so if this card gets targeted, like if your opponent, let's say, blind MSTs, because keep in mind, this is a 3MST format. So if your opponent blind MSTs you and they target Safe Zone while face down, okay, you can go chain Safe Zone, target their monster, blow it up. So out of nowhere, you can just go positive off of it. The only downside to Safe Zone is that, you know, it is very vulnerable to MST. But, you know, the way I see it is, if they have the MST, they better have it. And your guy was going to die anyway, so you might as well make them have, like, the extra card to take down your monster. That's how I reason with it. And then we have 2 Chariot, 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, 2 Warnings. Just a bunch of really good 2-ofs. You have a bunch of really strong 2-of traps in this format. 2 Lava Haunted. We have 2 of these now. That's great. There's more abuse with Geyserus and Prisma. Then 2 Tori. And then the 1-of traps is Compulsory, Starlight Road, and Solemn. Just 1 Compulse because I'm already at 43 cards. And it's not great versus everything, but I can make the 1 work. And then just these 2 cards. That's the main deck. So as you can see, it looks like something out of Edison format, just with a few minor like adjustments. Now the extra deck is probably the most important part of the deck, because we now have Exceeds to play with, which is a pretty big deal. So we'll go ahead and do the fusions first. We have 2 Geyserus, 1 Herc, and 1 Asadari. He's the new guy. So that's it for this is it for the fusions. Because we have Exceeds now, this is all you ever need. It's important to look at Exceeds as basically just more Glad fusions. So you don't have to stock up on Geyserus anymore. You know, if you actually need 3 Geyserus, there's something wrong there. You definitely don't need more than 1 Herc, that's for sure. Then Isadari is just there as an option, because 9 times out of 10, if we get the option to go into this, I'd rather make an Exceed, to be honest. But he still sometimes comes up, because like sometimes you Darius bring back Murmillo, and it's like you can't Exceed there, so the best thing you can do is make Isadari. 1 Stardust because of Starlight Road. And then for the Exceeds, we have quite a few of them. We have Acid Golem. It has 3,000 attack. That's good enough for me. And it's very good to have this versus the skill drain matchups, because now you're not having to deal with the downside of having this card on the field. 1 Levier. Levier is nice. It's basically just a it's like a panic button for this deck, because now if Bestiari ever gets banished, you can go into this and bring it back. 1 Invoker. Invoker is actually crazy good in this deck, but most people don't see the lines, and I'll explain like what exactly it is you can do with it. So first of all, what Invoker does is you can it's a generic rank 3, and you can detach a material to summon a level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior from your deck. So basically, its job is to summon Darius. That's all it does. But there's so many lines that come up involving Test Tigers. So I'll give you an example, right? So let's say you have a GB on the field. We're gonna just say, for the sake of example, that we have a Laquari, right? So let's say we have a GB and 2 Test Tigers. This is our hand, right? Now, let's say, you know, our opponent has a big board. A board with a bunch of Exceeds, big monsters, and obviously we have to out that board or else we lose. So as long as you have a way to get this GB to tag out into bestiary, what you can do now is, in the main phase 2, summon these 2 tigers out alongside the bestiary, overlay them into Invoker, detach, bring out Darius, and then you contact fuse into Gyzurus. And you basically just dealt with their whole board. You have 2 bodies on the field, that's 4k damage, and then 2 bodies that summon more GBs out next turn. Because the alternative to this play is to just take your 1 GB and the 2 test tigers and then tag out this GB multiple times into Murmillo. You could do that, but that leaves you with 1 monster on the field, a very weak one, whereas the other play that I just showed you gives you a much better board to end on. That's one example that I look out for. Another very common one that comes up is, let's say you tag out, let's say at some point you tag out Geysers, right? You tag out for, we'll just say, a 4-star GB and a 3-star GB. Like, let's say you have to banish a Grapha from the grave. Now, you could make a Sadari here, but ending on a 2500 vanilla doesn't seem very good. So instead, what you can do is special summon a test tiger from the hand. Overlay the Retiari and the test tiger for Invoker, attach for the Invoker, and then using the effect, we bring out Darius. And then right here, we can go ahead and overlay these 2 into rank 4. Like, we can make Steel Swarm Roach against Dark Worlds or Chaos Dragons, whatever the case may be, or a Maestroke. Doesn't matter. Like, the point is, we're getting much more out of it than just like 2 G's on the field, you know? There's plenty of plays like that come up, as long as you know how to look out for them. So yeah, that's why I play Invoker. Okay, continuing with the Exceed lineup, we also have 1 Gemini Pearl. It's a 2600 beater, and that's it. That's all it is. And the fact that it can beat over Stardust, that's good enough for me. 1 Heroic Champion Excalibur. So Excalibur is a very situational Exceed to go into, because the only way you can make it is with a Hero Lives, because a Hero Lives involves Stratos and Prisma, which are 2 warrior types. So that's the only way you're ever making Excalibur. But the reason I play it, though, is because it's a 4K beater. And sometimes, honestly, that's good enough. That's enough to beat over a BLS, a NASA Golem. That's enough to beat over a Red Eyes or something like that. It's super niche, but it's good enough to play. 1 Utopia Ray. I think this is the best Utopia Ray deck in the format. So Utopia Ray, for those who are unfamiliar, whenever you're at 1,000 life points or less, you can use Utopia Ray to detach up to 3 materials. And I believe the effect is, you can, for each material you detach, it gains 500, and then the opponent's monster loses 1,000. So out of nowhere, you can just Hero Lives to put yourself at 1,000 or less. Go Utopia Ray, swing for a bunch of damage, and then end the game out of nowhere. And most people just don't see it coming. 1 Steel Swarm Roach. Great card. There's at least a small handful of decks this shuts down. It shuts down Dark World, Chaos Dragon, Agents, and there's always at least 1 Synchro-centric deck in the format. So it's nice to have this option. 1 Maestroke. Maestroke is great. It's honestly my favorite Exceed in this format. It's the Exceed that I go into 24/7. I make it sometimes more than I do Geyserus. It's just that what's so good about Maestroke is that you're paying a lot of life points in this deck. So you're often playing with low life. But Maestroke is the only Exceed that can shield your life points because it takes 3 hits to kill, and there's not a lot of easy ways to out it. So it's a huge wall, and it also sets up your plays because you can Book of Moon their monsters with its effect and then get free tags out of it. It's just it does everything you want. It helps you out a lot. It's like the perfect Exceed for this deck. To the point where, honestly, as the more I develop this deck and play the format again, I honestly wouldn't mind playing 2 of it. But yeah, the card's great. I can't say enough. And then Shockmaster card is pretty crazy, and it's very easy for this deck to make it too. I think this deck makes it just as often as Wind Up does, and you even have a 2-card combo that goes into it. And I can go ahead and show that off now. But anytime you open a Hero Lives with Test Tiger, so this is a 2-card Shockmaster combo that Glads have. You can go Hero Lives, pay 1,000, summon out. We're gonna go ahead and summon Stratos if I can find it. Yeah, we summon Stratos. Use the effect to search for Prisma. Summon Prisma. Use the effect of Prisma to pitch Laquari to the grave. We then summon Test Tiger effect, put back the Prisma to deck, summon out Darius. Darius brings back Laquari, and what do you know? That's 3 level 4s. You make Shockmaster. You detach calling spells, and then now you can set your whole hand and not have to fear Heavy Storm. And then using cards like Call the Haunted or any GB for that matter, you can just bring back the ones that are getting detached off of it. And you know, so many decks just fold to it is the thing. But yeah, card's great. And yeah, that was the deck profile for REDU format. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's very underrated. And hopefully we can see more of it and the format in general. So I'll see you guys later.